I love that this show allows me to believe that Dexter is cultured enough that he has seen Hamilton enough times that he can make bad puns referencing it. Kudos to you, Dex. Hello, everyone. Terrence here with Hollywood Already Did It. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, share, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ring that bell below. Anytime we have something, you will be among the first to know. Episode 8 of Dexter Resurrection is here. It is called The Kill Room Where It Happened. Little Hamilton puns put in here. Now, before we get into this episode, I do want to take time to sort of acknowledge the fact that if you're in the Dexter universe, we got word today that Dexter Original Sin sadly will not be continuing on, has been canceled, which is unfortunate. It sucked because that show was really good and much better than I think it had any right to be. I do think, though, that we live in a world where if it doesn't have Michael C. Hall, the audience is just not gravitating to it. And so I think anybody who watched and actually got eyeballs on Original Sin loved it, but that wasn't enough people to keep the lights on, if you will. That's it. Dexter Resurrection is firing on all cylinders. And this episode, probably one of the shorter episodes of the season, but still a lot of energy and movement is put into this episode. So the episode begins with Angel kind of just fully enveloped in this capture the flag moment of trying to catch Dexter in the moment of being the Bay Harbor Butcher. And so he has clips, he has maps, he has written things out, he has photos, he is down the rabbit hole, and he's making a voice recording of his findings and saying that, hey, I put a tracker on his car, and I am doing everything possible to prove that Dexter Morgan is the Bay Harbor Butcher. And so he's following the routes pretty adamantly to see if there's any anomalies that happen where breaks out of the routine that Dexter is. That he knows that Dexter is a creature of habit. He follows routines, and if he ever breaks off that path, that's when he knows, okay, he's in his mode. He's about to do something. He's about to strike. So he's watching that map very closely. Meanwhile, Dex is doing his Uber ride. He's deciding, like, this is the night. Tonight's the night that I need to go after Al. He's the last person in this killer cabal that I need to go after. Let me go ahead and take this dude out. He finds out, though, that he has to move quickly because Al is planning to go home. He's like, I'm done. Like, all these killings, Mia being killed in prison, Lowell being killed, Gareth, you taking him out. All of these things have sort of made him very skittish about being in New York. He's like, no, I'm going to go back home. My wife's ovulating. My family needs me. I'm going to roll back home. But before he does so, he's planning to take up a show. He's planning to go see Hamilton on Broadway before he heads out. And Dex like, well, this is my last chance. I got to get you before you get out of there. Can we meet after this? And so they set up a date to have like coffee after the play so they can have sort of this last moment. So Red can kind of just Dex and kind of talk to him and say, hey, let's have a conversation. Now, what keeps happening, we keep seeing Dexter in real time sort of have a grimacing pains of the moment of his shoulder. He has not had his treatment of acupuncture in quite a while. And so he is just grimacing and showing that this is a thing that happens about 3 or 4 times in this episode to show that he eventually needs to kind of get a re-up on his acupuncture. Meanwhile, with Charlie and Leon is prepping for this big police gala that he has going. And it's a big enough thing that it is affecting kind of all of our stories. We'll sort of have a breadcrumb in all 3 of our sort of triangulating stories that mention the gala. But he's prepping for it. And while he's prepping, Charlie pulls him to the side. It's like, look, I don't know what it is, but something in my gut is saying, I don't trust Red. All of these things that have occurred and how everything's sort of fallen apart has fallen apart in the year that Red has shown up. Something doesn't add up. And Leon's like, well, what are your theories? He's like, well, I don't have any theories. I don't have anything. He's too clean. He's too secretive. I don't know what it is, but there's something that I just don't trust. And Leon's like, well, my gut says that I trust Red. There's nobody else in the world that I do trust but him. Like, I trust him. And Charlie's like, well, you need to trust me and let me do my job. And Leon quickly reminds her, like, well, what is your job again? And she says, it's to protect you. He's like, well, cool. Then effing do your job and get off my case. And so Leon is very much in the Dexter, he doesn't know it's Dexter, but in the Red camp, where Charlie's like, this doesn't make sense. Something's not right. And Leon's too far down the rabbit hole of serial killers and just being infatuated with them all that he's not seeing clearly. So Elsa informs Harrison once again that Vinny, her landlord, is doing some shady dealings again. And instead of her winning by not paying and getting the mold taken care of, he's just turned off the heat in their place. So they now have to find a place to stay right now. And they can't use the hotel rooms that are at the hotel because the gala is happening. So this is where the gala piece affects that, and where Harrison eventually realizes that, hey, I can't stay there, but I can probably stay with my dad, which comes up a little bit later in the episode. So Harrison clocks it like he feels kind of bad for Elsa, and that, hey, am I the reason why your landlord is pushing so hard against you? Like me pushing against him, did that set him off on this path? And so he feels guilty. And Elsa's like, nah, this ain't you. He's just an a-hole. So Dex is prepping where to do his kill room because he knows he's going to have a limited amount of time from where the theater is to where he has to go to actually make the kill happen with Al. And he also finds that there's a wig shop that just happens to be the owners of it are on vacation. He looks at the wig shop like, cool. I don't have the ability to get the trophies and get the information to sort of set up the proper kill room for Al because I don't have the ponytails, I don't have the photos. But if I'm in a wig shop with these ponytails in it and his hair in it, the point will get made. So this is a good spot. So he sets up everything. That's his place, putting it in plastic. But because he's there stationary for so long and the spot doesn't move, Angel immediately knows, like, okay, something's up. He hasn't moved. This isn't a normal, this isn't like food. This isn't a Cuban spot that he's going to. Something here is different. Let me go find out what that is. So he gets there, but by the time he arrives at the scene, Dex is on the move again. So the spot moves. And he's not quite able to triangulate where Dex is. He has the general idea of the area of where he is, but he doesn't know where he's at. So he's kind of lost the scent again. But Dex moves on. I'm going to just drop the seed of where the gala affects Officer Wallace and Olivia, in that Wallace, she's doing her homework. She is basically studying the history of the Bay Harbor Butcher. She's looking at photos of Dax and Batista and all them at the bowling alley and LaGuardia and all this. She's looking at old news clippings, just completely engulfing herself in the Bay Harbor Butcher greatest hits and the news that came with it. Then Detective Olivia comes in a suit to sort of say, hey, we got the gala coming up. You're going with me, just to sort of put the gala piece on the board for them. It's I have a feeling that when we get to the gala episode, which I would imagine is going to be the next episode, it's probably going to be as strong as an episode as the dinner episode that happened earlier, because all of our stories are sort of going to triangulate in on each other, between Dex sort of being in present as Dexter here, the Bay Harbor Butcher's name being thrown around with Leon and all of them present. Like, all of this stuff's going to come to a head in that episode. And I think that next episode is going to be fire. Dex is actually heading towards Joy to go get some acupuncture because this shoulder, he keeps grimacing. It's having an effect on him. So he goes, she starts it, and it's kind of saying like, hey, I know my dad is in a bad way right now because his mom just passed, but he needs to let me go. He's feeling really hurt that he just lost his mom and then he's going to lose me. But you got to let go of your kids sometimes. And Dex, trying to be a good friend and trying to reassure her, let slip some of the things that Blessings told him, sort of in confidence, and about how he was a criminal, basically, that he was a child soldier, and that he's killed people, which just really has a bad effect on Joy. Dex was under the impression that this was a known thing, but clearly it was not, and so Joy can't continue. She's done enough where he feels better, but she can't continue on with the acupuncture and just stops. And she scurries off and takes off. Doesn't stop Dex. He's like, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling rejuvenated. I'm back on the mend. Let me go ahead and make this kill. While he is prepping, getting his stuff and getting all the things that he needs for his kill, Harrison calls him to say, hey, I need some advice. Can we meet in person and sort of chat? Dex, never a moment to like kill two birds with one stone. He's kind of like, okay, I don't want to keep I want to keep my personal life away from my professional life, if you will, but I still want to have these connections with Harrison. So he decides, all right, cool, Harrison, let's meet at the theater district. That way I'm still in the area wherever it is. I got to meet Al in just a little bit. So they meet up, have some convos. Harrison drops on him about this shady landlord, Vinny. tells him about the Elsa stuff. It's like, I kind of feel like that I'm the blame because I had a conversation with him, didn't go the best way. And Dex's like, well, cool. Let me talk to him. I can be a bit persuasive. And Harris is like, well, hold on. I don't need you to be that persuasive. And Dexter, no, cool off. I mean, have a talk with him. He doesn't fit the code, so you don't have to worry about me being that type of persuasive. I'm not gonna kill him. I just want to talk to him. And because I'm a former cop, maybe there's some ways that I can come at it from a different approach that he might listen to and respond to better than he would from someone who's what he would consider just to be a kid or a child. So then Dex takes a check because he's got a time schedule to sort of move on to, because Dex says like, I'll go talk to him. So he takes off, and he's prepping and waiting for Al to get out of the Hamilton show. While he's prepping, he's saying like, well, let me take this time to sort of look up Vinny and see what his I guess you would call it Yelp review. It was sort of like what the Yelp review of this of Vinny is, and it's bad. And a lot of things seem like there's a lot of shady dealings and just a little bit mismanagement of his properties to the point where there have been deaths. So there's becomes this sort of thin line where Vinny kind of fits what the code is, or more so Dexter is sort of making it to fit that way. But he's like, all right, look, maybe I should go ahead and kill this dude, take him out. And Harry comes in and is like, hold on, he doesn't fit the code. He's like, Madani, just a little bit. Dex is like, okay, cool. I won't we'll sort of have the conversation with him, but he is near the area of where I can have this conversation because a lot of these things happened on his watch just because of negligence. But anyway, the show lets out. Dex doesn't see Al anywhere. He doesn't see him present at all. He's like, wait, where are you? So then he calls Al. And it turns out that Al says, like, I didn't realize that Hamilton was a rap musical. And he says he already headed back home. He's headed back home. He's taking off. We'll see you next time, Dex. And Dex tries to sort of talk to him like, hey, can I meet you somewhere? He's like, nope, I don't like to mix my business with my family. We're good here. I'll see you on the next time if Leon decides to have any of these again. And then he takes the phone and throws it out of the car. And Dex is kind of like left there, cold blue balls, because he didn't get to exact his dark passenger. And he's got this appetite that he has. I'm going to put a star, an asterisk by this scene, because when we get to the end, I feel like this scene connects very much to the very last sequence that happens in this movie, this episode, in that Al was sort of aware and kind of probably told to go away. So Dex goes back home and meets with Blessing's wife to sort of get some information because she is a landlord, to get some information and say, hey, is there anything or what are the rules about if your landlord has been identified that you have mold? Or do they have a requirement to do something? And she's like, yeah, they do. So she gets a book to show about like mold in tenants' homes and all that stuff. While she's doing that, Blessings comes home and it's like, I got a G. He wants to G check Dex. Like, let's have a conversation man to man. And he is very distraught, and that Joy did not respond well to the information that Dex gave. And Blessing's like, look, I gave you that in confidence. I gave you that as a friend. It was a private conversation the two of you had, and you just went to go blab that to my kids. And now I don't think my kid is ever going to look at me in the same way. And Dex is like, no, she'll come around. You'll be surprised how resilient kids are. And Blessing's like, how would Harrison feel if you told him that you killed someone? And Dex is like, just one. And you know that he's coming from a different place. Like I've done some messed up things, and Harrison has taken me back in my life. I feel like Joy, once the initial shock wears off, she will come back around and be there for you. But Blessing doesn't want to hear that. Blessing's like, I trusted you, and you betrayed me, and he sort of storms off. And so in this moment, you can sort of see that Dex is a little distraught. Part of it because he actually cared about Blessings and wanted to do what was right by him. And so some of that's that, but also some of it's because he didn't get to kill Al. So he's now like blue balls and his friend is leave. Like he's just pissed. So what does he decide to do? He decides to focus his energy on Vinny. So he goes to Vinny's offices and his secretary is basically stalling him to the point where Vinny is not trying to see Dex. You can either hear him through the walls trying to blow him off. Dex just goes in there to have a conversation with him, and he does not respond well. Kind of like, what the hell are you doing in my office? Are you a cop? I mean, are you a lawyer? Are you with the insurance agency? Get the hell up out of here. I don't got to talk to you. He just blows by Dex, and Dex immediately says, "I've got to applaud my son for having the restraint not to kill this man because I'm there. Like I already want to do it." And so it's clear that that little flash forward moment or that dream sequence that Harrison had in the moment, Dex was like, "No, that might have been a good idea. You might have should have taken this dude out." Harrison goes to apply for financial aid for school because he decides that, like, yeah, this is something that I want to do. And he runs into Gigi again, who's doing her another tour. And in that, he asks Gigi out for a date for a night of dancing later that night. It's clear that Harrison has more emotional connection to humans. This has been the reason why he is very different than Dex all around. But he can smell when there is something in the air, and a girl is giving him a little bit of attention. While they're out on their date, Gigi tells Harrison that she found out that she has permanent damage in her hand and that she will never be able to be the detective like she wanted to be. And Harrison does a really good job of saying, like, well, reassuring her that you can still be in the police academy. You can still do police work. You're just gonna have to find a different way to do so. Like my dad was a forensic splatter analysis and DNA person for ages. Like there are other things in the department besides just being a detective, which sort of helps her feel better about her night and herself. And they have a great night dancing, partying, living it up, and a little happy time. So Harrison's much more aware of the ladies than Dex ever was. Meanwhile, while that's happening, Dex snares Vinny into his car. He actually sort of like puts on a stocking cap and uses his trusty needle to subdue him. But then there's just a regular onlooker that sort of, while this is happening, sees this man, quasi sees this man get put into a car and walks by a guy with a halfway stocking mask on and just ignores it and just listens to his music. And Dex is kind of just like, gotta say, I love New York. Like, just completely oblivious to it. Anywhere else, probably maybe not LA, that would have been like, "What are you doing?" New York seemed like a regular ass thing to do. Dex is taking Vinny back to the kill table that he had sort of he prepped for Al. It's like, well, I have a kill table ready. Everything's ready to go. Let me just go use that one. So he takes Vinny there, uh, and he's telling him that, hey, you are a miserable landlord. You're terrible. You're doing bad by your tenants. You're doing bad by the health of them. I need you to do better. You need to do better, and I'm going to give you a chance to do better. Like I'm gonna let you go. I don't want to have to see you again because if I see you again, the consequences could be far worse. And as he's talking to him, Angel arrives on the scene because this is the same spot that Dex was at earlier. He can see that, hey, he hasn't moved in a while. And when he gets there, he's trying to look around. He's like, where could he be? And he sees that, like, hey, the perfect sort of spot is the wig spot that with the person that's gone for a while. So he picks his way over there. As Dex is sort of giving Vinny the heads up that he's going to let him go, he hears that the door gets unlocked. And at that point, he's like, what the hell is going on? So he frees Vinny, and when Vinny gets free, he runs towards the front, knocking Angel over, who comes in at gunpoint to stop Dex, and Dex takes off through the back. So that gives him enough time to sort of separate, get to his car, and take off. Angels tries to follow, sees that it's in the parking garage, like, oh crap, that was an easy escape to the parking garage. He's gone, he's lost track. And then Angel pulls out his phone and sees that Dexter is on the move again. So he's like, crap, I lost him. Then he goes back into the wig shop and kind of just sees the plastic room, sees all the plastic all over the place, and like, okay, this is a kill room. This is the Bay Harbor Butcher kill room. This is what it looks like. And so he calls Officer Wallace and says, hey, yo, get down here. I want you to get down here now. I have verified proof that the Bay Harbor Butcher is still active and in town right now. So while Dex is speeding off, heading off, just he's really concerned with like how Batista keeps finding him and how Batista was on his tail. So then he pulls over and starts searching his car for any type of wire or trace, and he eventually finds the ear pod and he smashes them down. At that point, he's kind of like, okay, look, I've had enough of this. Like, this needs to stop. I need to put an end to him now. Meanwhile, back at the wig shop, Detective Olivia and Detective Wallace show up on the scene with Batista. And this is where things start turning bad for Batista. Kind of similar to how a lot of people start happening to dopes. A lot of poor circumstances and just not having enough evidence. But they arrive on the scene and they ask him, "Where's the body? You said there was evidence. Where's the body?" And then Angel says, "Like, oh, I caught him in the act." And then Olivia's asks him, "Well, hold on. Did he?" Because we can see that there was a slice and that the victim was freed. Did the Bay Harbor Butcher cut him loose? And Angel was like, "Yes." He's like, "Well, that's not a normal MO of the Bay Harbor Butcher." And Angel's like, "Well, he must have heard me break in." And then they're like, "Break in? So you did that illegally? You broke in?" Copy. And then Wallace asks, like, "Well, did you see him?" And he's like, "Well, no, I didn't. I didn't see him." Um, and he didn't get the man's name who ran out. He didn't get a. He got a physical description of him, but it looked like just any other Italian heavyset, dark-haired man in New York and the police department. He then mentions that, like, hell, I had a tracker on Dexter, and they're like, "Well, hold on, you have a warrant?" And they're like, "No." And so it's like an illegal tracker. Everything just starts looking bad for Batista. Even though he didn't need a warrant, the way that he was invited into the car. He's like, it's a long story, but he was invited to the car. This is what I said in the last episode. He was invited into the car and he dropped it in as a friend. So technically he didn't need it didn't need to have a warrant for that. But he does say, "Hey, look, let me show you. I was tracking him on my phone. I can follow him." And he shows up the phone, but Dex just killed the signal. So now there's no signal. There's no victim. The Dave Harbor Butcher, quote unquote, plastic room is here, but the victim was set free and didn't kill anybody. All of this looks like you've elaborately set this up so that you can pin this on someone else. You can pin this on Dexter because nothing here points to Dexter. All of this points to you being very suspect, Angel. And so they are all looking at him, giving him that look of like, cool, it's you we don't trust. It's you that seems off here. And it seems like he's heading to sort of the same fate that Dokes was. Maybe not dead, but he's definitely going to have his name smeared because this all is going in the direction where it looks like he is the person to blame. And it gets even worse for him because Detective Wallace then heads back to her precinct, is looking at photos, and now she's looking at stuff and is sort of putting it into a story that forms directly pointed at Angel. LaGuardia, his wife, is killed. He rises up in rank. He was friends with Dex, so if he's like the last sort of one that can kind of know that Angel is the Bay Harbor Butcher. Everything's sort of pointing towards him. So then she makes a call to Quinn, who is on the scene still in Miami, and finds out that Angel's no longer with the police department. He just up and went to New York, and we don't know what the hell he's doing or why he's there. And that just sort of was the last sort of straw for Wallace. Like, okay, this man might be the person that we need to be going after. Meanwhile, Dex is sort of like freaking out with his inner thoughts with Harry, and kind of is like, I gotta end this dude. Like, I don't know how much he's been watching. I don't know if my place is bugged. I don't know what's going on. And Harry's kind of like, look, you didn't leave any DNA, you didn't leave any fingerprints, you didn't kill anybody. There's no body there. Nothing can be found from that scene. And if it were an actual police investigation and Angel wasn't operating on his own, it wouldn't just be an ear pod. It would be a highly sophisticated equipment that's bugging you, not ear pods. And Dex like, okay, cool. Even still, Angel's like a dog on a bone. And he's not letting this go. He's not going to stop until I'm behind bars. And Harry kind of comes up with, like, well, there is one alternative. You could just stop killing. Yeah, Dex ain't doing that. So then, Harrison and Dex have a follow-up dinner at a pretty nice looking restaurant. And Harrison tells him that, like, everything's on the up and up with Elsa. Elsa's landlord got the heat, got rid of the mold, everything's good. So I don't know what you did, but your conversation with him worked out. Everything went well. And Dex kind of like, yeah, it's a little tough conversation. And Harrison's like, you scared the crap out of him. Like, I did, and it felt good. But you can see that, like, hey, Harrison kind of even says, you say that I have a thing about justice, about doing the right thing. It's like, but so do you, Dad. And Dex like, yeah, I guess I do. Then Harrison asks, like, hey, is there possible that I can stay with you this weekend? Because if we remember, that gala is happening, so all the rooms in that hotel that he works at aren't going to be available for him to sort of pop in. And then this episode gets nutty because Leon walks in. It's like, hey, Red, I didn't know you had a son. And the look on his face is both of disappointment and of like betrayal because he trusted Red. And Dex kind of like, well, crap. And this whole time, Dex has been saying, I need to keep my professional life and my personal life separate. And right now, it comes to a head. So Leon is meeting him head first. Meanwhile, Charlie is outside saying, like, cool, I did my job. I'm keeping you safe. Let me show you that he's not on the up and up. And so she is the orchestrator of putting Leon in this position to know where Dex is. Now, I put a pin or a star by that spot that happened earlier with Al. I think because he even says Leon called me at, or I called Leon um, and let him know that I was heading out of town. I have a feeling that Leon gave him the up and up. It was like, hey, don't stay away from Red. Like I don't know why, but stay away from Red. Um, and so instead of meeting him after the show, he just took off at the halfway mark and just left. Because I feel like there's no way that Al did not know. As big of a show that Hamilton is, there's no way that he goes in there not knowing that it's a hip hop, that it's a hip hop musical. I think that was his way of sort of saying, I'm going to get out of this and head back home. And that's why he throws the phone out. And he's like, I don't want any connections left to Red for him to find me. So I think Charlie and Leon gave him the heads up. You need to leave because we're starting to figure some things out and seeing that Red is responsible for a lot of this stuff. So um, it's going to be interesting to see how Leon or Red, Dexter can get out of the situation in the restaurant. I think Harrison's going to probably catch on and sort of buy some bail a little bit for Dex to get out of that moment, but not enough that Leon's still not completely done with it. But because Leon's a popular figure, he can't do anything in that restaurant. Um, he's too known of a person to do anything bad in that restaurant. So that's sort of the other saving grace that he has because this big gala is being put on by him. He can't mess that up. And so it's going to be a very harrowing position to see the two of them when we get back to the next episode. But I think the next episode is going to have this gala that happens. And I think that's going to be the bread and butter where you get Angel being distressed and Olivia and Wallace watching him, thoughts of the Bay Harbor Butcher, all of that stuff sort of comes in this big gumbo soup we get in that final episode, second to last episode before we get to the final. But again, another banger. Like there has not been a bad episode of Dexter Resurrection. And even though we have lost Dexter Original Sin, it is good to know that we can still have our Dark Passenger fed um, even after all this time. What did you guys think about this 8th episode of Dexter Resurrection called The Kill Room, where it happens? Where to leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. If you haven't already, you can follow us on X or you can hit us up on email at hollywoodalreadydidit@gmail.com. We also have a podcast with the same name. That's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that plays podcasts. We're there. And like always, I got my ticket. You got yours.